Hello everybody, we're going to be doing Mortal Kombat 1 predictions for NI East and West. The tournaments that are happening this Sunday, 420, blaze it. But top 8 is going to be streamed on Mr. Aquaman's channel on both NA East and West. So only top 8 is going to be streamed. Outside of that, there will be no stream for the tournament, so I digress. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do top 32. Last time I did this, I did the pools, and it took forever. So I just don't think it, like, I'll look through it, and if it's someone's like, that kind of seems like, oh, maybe they shouldn't be there, or maybe there's another player that, I think would be better, I'll go look into the pool. But other than that, like, I think right here, I think this is going to be Pulse versus Honeybee. They have Josh Ninja, who went on a bit of a run last time, so they seed him pretty highly. But I think Honeybee is going to be there. I do think Pulse is going to win that over Honeybee, though. They did play it. They played it last chance qualifier, and Pulse was able to win that set. We got Rebel versus Bandinos. I think Rebel went on a run, but I think Bandinos is going to take that, so we'll have Pulse versus Bandinos here. You have Rectio versus Cold. Cold won an absolute tear last tournament. He beat Honeybee and Gur, I'm pretty sure. Cold, absolute menace, but I think Get Rectio is going to win that. Get Rectio, I think, got 5th place at the last one. We more into the top 8. Kakoi versus B-Wood. I think Kakoi is going to win that. So we would have Get Rectio versus Kakoi. We have Just Nasty and Kombat. I think Kombat would win that. Kombat is just someone who's always just ready to play. Final Kombat is in person, yes, 100%. So the winner of the tournament next weekend. So there's already 4 people qualified. Winner of the tournament next weekend will qualify for Final Kombat. And who qualified for NA East was Tweety, the Mighty Unjust, Ninja Killa, and who else qualified? I'm sorry to go back and forth here, but and Pure. Oh yeah, Pure qualified. Shout out to Pure for qualifying. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Okay, so I think Zombie wins that. Tragic versus Xander. I think Xander will win that. Tragic did make top 8 last week, though. Shout out to Tragic. Absolute monster at this game right now with that smoke. We got Busman and No Green. The thing is, the sad truth is that Busman is a PC player, and PC is not allowed, so he has to play on PS4 or 5, and that kind of threw him off. I wonder if he's been like grinding on PS5 this week to get ready for that. Busman's so good, but I think I'm gonna take No Green for that particular reason alone. I know it's a little weird, you have to do that, but is what it is. Okay, we got Hayate versus Mari. I think Mari's gonna take that, so we have No Green Mari here. Loser side, right here, I think this is where Josh is going to be. They have Honeybee here. That's where I have Josh. Josh versus Desda. I think I'm going to take Desda. I'm going to take Desda on that one. We have Zupa versus Full Auto. I got Zupa. BJG versus Wraith. That'll be a great set. Wait, who do they have Wraith losing to? In pool 3. So it's still grinding PC. Yeah, they're do Ludi and Sparks. Who did they Wraith losing? They had Wraith losing to Busman. Okay, that makes sense. I'll keep that. Then they did not do my boy Wraith. I think Wraith was a big Daddy G. Damn. Poseidon versus Mist, dude. Me and Mist played such good sets, bro. I think we're 2-2 lifetime, both between online and offline. I'm gonna take myself there. I'm in that situation. I'm gonna take myself. We got Red Nose versus Map. I'm gonna take Red Nose. I think they had to play last time as well. It was no fun to play. I do well against Homelander, though. Joystick versus Dark. I think Dark takes that. We got Sparks and Burrito. So Sparks has to play Ludi. I think Ludi is going to take that over Sparks. And so Burrito. But I do think Burrito will beat Ludi. And then we have Kexter versus Dark Luxury. I'm going to take Kexter. As long as Kexter's doing good. In a good headspace, stuff like that. Okay. So here we would have... I have Hayate versus Desda. I think Hayate would take that, so Hayate will be here. Easier. 3. Hayate. Just to keep organized, just so I don't be like, oh, who's there again? Right here I would have, I have Busman versus Zupa. I think Busman takes that, so it would be Hayate versus Busman. Let me go over. And then right here, I would have Tragic versus Wraith. I'm going to take my boy Wraith. I think Wraith is really fucking good at this game, dude. I'm going to take Wraith. And then Wraith would be going up against... We have me versus... Dude, if I had to play Just Nasty again, bro, that would be crazy. That would be funny. I'm gonna take Just Nasty. Just Nasty does well. I could happen. I could do it, but I'm gonna take Just Nasty there. So this is Just Nasty. Okay, and then we'd have here. I have B-Wood versus Kukui. I do have Kukui winning that. So Kukui versus Red Nose. B-Wood versus Red Nose. Man, B-Wood is so good. I'm gonna take B-Wood. Red Nose is so good. I think Red Nose could go on a run. I feel like if this matchup were to happen, I would take B-Wood. But you know, the brackets can always get funky and stuff like that. You don't always know what's gonna happen. In that particular situation, I'm gonna take B-Wood. And then Cold, it would be Cold versus Dark. I'm gonna take Dark. That would be a good Rain versus Reptile. We'll see, but I'm gonna take Dark. And then we got, did I have Bandinos here? No, I have Rebel. So it would be Rebel versus Burrito. I'm gonna take Rebel. And then Rebel versus and then we have Kexter versus Honeybee. Ghostface? I'm gonna take Honeybee, just because if Honeybee's on T1000. I'm gonna take Honeybee. Be there. Okay. So then here we would have Pulse versus Bandinos. I'm gonna take Bandinos winner's side. Winners top 8. Bandinos. Game 5, to be honest. I'd say Hayate wins the whole weekend. We'll see. He's on 2XKO right now, man. I don't know if his head's in MK right now. I'll get Rectio versus Kukui. I'm gonna take Get Rectio. We have Zombat versus Xander. I'm gonna take Zombat. And then we have No Green versus Marty. I'm gonna take Marty there. Marty. Okay. And then, so then we have Hayate versus Bustman on the top 1. I'm gonna take Bustman. I mean, it would be one thing if it was the PC thing and stuff like that. Wraith versus Just Nasty. I'm gonna take Wraith. Good. B-Wood versus Dark. B-Wood's so good against Reptile. I'm gonna take B-Wood. And then Rebel versus Honeybee. I think Honeybee's gonna go on a run here. Yeah, Honeybee. And then, so we got Busman here. We'll play the loser of Kukui. All goes in weird order. But this would be Kukui. So I would have Busman versus Kukui. Damn. I'm gonna take Busman. I don't know. These brackets are gonna shake up kind of crazy. This is where they have Rebel, where I have Pulse. So Pulse versus Wraith. Ooh. They played last week. I think it won Game 5. I said I'm gonna take Wraith. That was super close. Then here is where I have Xander. So it would be Xander versus who I have 3, which would be B-Wood. Xander versus B-Wood. I'm gonna take B-Wood. And then we got Honeybee versus No Green. I think I'm gonna take No Green. Okay. So then it would be Rebel. So they have Rebel. Okay. So then it would be. So it would be these two would face each other. So it would be Busman and Wraith would face each other. No Green and B would face each other, and then yeah, they have it like that. Okay. So top 8 predictions. Kyle doesn't lose a Havoc Mirror. He doesn't? Not even to Busman? Does Busman lose a Havoc Mirror? Busman is the original Havoc. And we'll bust all over everyone. Exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so that means it would be Bandinos versus Get Wrecked Yo. I'm going to take Bandinos. And then Zombat versus Mari. I'm going to take Zombat. I wonder if Zombat would be the guy that is going to DQ if he makes a winners finals. So if you make top 4, you automatically qualify for the finale that happens next weekend. So I wonder if he would DQ at this point. I'm gonna do my predictions as if he would do that, honestly, because it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is seeding at that point. So then we would have losers. We have Bustman versus Wraith. I gotta take Bustman, man. And then we got B Wood versus No Green. Oh man, I think I'm gonna take No Green. Okay, man, I don't know why. It's a Xiaomi. I think that can go either way. They both have crazy resumes. No Green just got 9th at Texas Showdown. I'm kind of really high in No Green at this point because of that. I think it's like he beat so many good players. He beat Pure. He beat Burrito Voorhees. He got set to losers like round 2 of his pool too. So it's like he went on a huge run. I'm super high in No Green at this point. Okay, so then we would have. This means that Busman. Wait. I mean, Get Rectio would play No Green. Get Rectio versus No Green. I'm gonna take Get Rectio. He's just so good at the game. And then we would have this would be Mari versus Bustman. Oh man, I'm gonna take Bustman to qualify. Mutabe finale. And then that means the rest would be, so that means who I have qualifying for the top 4 would be Bandino, Zombek, Get Rectio, and Busman. Get Rectio versus Busman. Rectio versus Bustman. I'll take Get Rectio. And then Bandinos. I'll take Bandinos versus Zombat. I'll take Bandinos just because I don't know. I feel like Zombat's gonna DQ if he gets to that point because it doesn't really matter at that point. And then so it'll be Get Rectio versus Bandinos and Grands. And I think Bandinos wins that. I think Bandinos wins the tournament this week. That's my predictions for NA East. We're going to go over to do NA West. You're going to do a similar fashion of the tournament. This definitely went by a lot quicker than the last one did. For sure. That one took forever. Okay. NA West. Be cool. No, I want to do top 32. Yeah. And then we're going to go based on, okay, yeah. Ram. Interesting. So why is this Ram? Who would they have Ram? Zythshock? Is Zythshock actually playing? And Young Monster? Damn, they have Zythshock and Young Monster. Not doing that well. Chico, yeah, I think that's probably where Chico is. Exactly. Exactly. So I think here would probably be Zythshock versus Young Monster. I'm gonna take Zythshock here, and then Young Monster switch. So I'll have Young Monster where Switch is, and I'll have Zythshock where Ram is. So I have we'll have Wise winning. We'll have Perfect Shinny winning here. I'll have Blizzard winning over Slow Fast. I'll have Dexy winning over AJ. Hourglass. I have Hourglass here. Enzo versus Fate. I think Enzo. So Hourglass versus Enzo. Retro here. Gambler here. Switch. Is this where I'll have Young Monster? So I'm gonna have Young Monster here. Unime versus Plus. I think I'm gonna take Unime. Unime went on a huge run. Got 9th place last week. So out of them, they're gonna be commentating Charlie Sundays this week too. Shout out to them. Can allow for like Varius. I'm gonna take Varius. Shout out to the dude Varius. Yeah, you gotta predict. Sweats are showing up exactly. Hyuno and Salisbury Torso. Who do they have here? Salisbury. Victor Freeze. C Perform. They don't C Performs. Does C Perform losing? I'm gonna have C Performs going where Salisbury would be. Yeah. So where Salisbury is, we have C Performs. Salisbury is. We have C Performs, so I'm gonna take Iono or C Perform. I'm gonna take C Performs. Averk and Chico. If Averk, what do they have Averk losing to? This pool's definitely a little different. They have Averk losing to Cyano. Alright, I'm gonna switch those guys. I'm gonna have Averk. Yeah, I'll still have Averk losing to Hourglass, but then I'll have Cyano where Averk is, and I'll have Chico winning that. Size offers Lanky. I think Lanky will take that. Tigers. They have Tigers losing. What do they have Tigers losing to? Tigers losing to Pop-Tart. I can see it. Just for a prediction standpoint, just to make it easier, I'll keep it. But Tigers just doesn't play the game that much. I'll take Tigers over Cowboy. And then Darkly versus Illy. I think I'm going to take Illy there. So this will be Young versus Rolled Breaker. We'll have Young Monster, so I'll do the same thing. Losers, round 3, Young Monster. We have this would actually be Pop-Tart, right? Pop-Tart versus Uname. I might take Uni. I think Uname this time. Oh, so it would be it would be yeah. So that would be Uname versus Young Monster. This is Uname. Then we would have Faded Soul. Faded Soul losing to Enzo. Yeah, Faded Soul versus Varius. Yo, what's going on? Dope. I'm gonna take Varius. Varius has got to come ready to game. You're gonna come ready to game, Varius. Better not make me look silly. And then we'd have we have C Performs here. This is where we'd have Averk, right? C Performs versus Averk. Versus Averk. Averk. Then we have AJ versus Chico. I gotta go with my boy Chico. Yeah. I know Chico, and then we have Slow Fast versus Lankiness. I think I'm gonna take Lankiness. That'll be versus Lankiness. We're from Toronto. Go. Averk's from Toronto. Why is he playing in NA West? I don't know. You may have thrown him under the bus. Unless he's in West now. So I avoid Cyrex for my mentality. I'll be good. Fair enough. And then we have this would be. Do I have Perfect Shitty? I have Perfect Shitty beating Rogelio. I think Tigers over Rogelio. Rogelio's really good though. Yo, Rips Arena with the raid of 313 people while I'm doing predictions. Oh my god! Thank you so much. Holy crap, Rips. How are you, man? Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Wow, I'm doing some kind of boring predictions. I haven't had those time, but thank you so much. We have Tigers. Okay, let's get back in this. And this is Ram is where I would have. This is where I have Zeitschok. Yeah, I would have Wise over Zeitschok. Zeitschok versus Illy Silly. I'm gonna take Zeitschok. Zeitschok. Dark Nebula. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, we have. I'm going to be hosting an Injustice 2 tournament tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyone's welcome. So even if you're you could play. It will be a very weird time for you. You'll have to stay up throughout the night, but tomorrow pro comp, it will be fast and free. Hey, dude, well you just gotta give yourself the repetition. You know what I mean? A lot of these people who are doing really well were signing up and being the quick outs. You know what I mean? They were the 1-2, the 2-2ers, and they just kept showing up. So that's how it was for me. I was 0-2 in, 1-2 in, 2-2 in, 3-2 in, and then he's just he's keep getting better. Get the good news about your brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. But shout out to Rips Arena. Shout out to Rips Arena in this community, man. Absolutely dope community and just dope dude in general, man. Okay, so here we'd have Wise versus Perfect. Wait, no. Am I crazy? I had Perfect Shinny winning. What did I? Oh, it would be Rogelio. That's what I said. Okay, I already said that. Okay. So we have Wise versus Perfect Shinny. I would have Wise. Here we have Blizzard versus Dexy. I'm going to take Dexy. I think Dexy's really fucking good at this game. We have Hourglass versus Enzo. I'm going to take Hourglass. And then we have Retro versus Gambler. I think Retro's going to win that. I think Retro is going to... Retro's so fucking good at this game, man. Every time I play Retro, it's just so one-sided in Retro's favor. Thank you so much, wow. Just in shock, just in shock over the raid. Okay. And then, so we have... And then the losers matches. Okay, so let me do this. We have Young Monster versus Unum. I think I'm going to take Young Monster. How you doing? Major Chance. Varius versus Averk. I think he beats Retro. You think Gambler beats Retro? I think Retro's just so good at the game, man. Gambler for that. Gambler can definitely do it. I just think, bro, Retro's just so fucking good at the game. And they fly under the radar because they don't compete a ton, but they're so good. And they got 5th of the last one, barely losing game 5 to Wise Gemini. So, okay, Varius versus Averk. I'm going to take Varius. Taking Varius. I'm high in you. I'm high in Varius here. Chica versus Lankiness. I'm going to take Lankiness. And Tiger versus Ice Shock. I'm going to take Ice Shock. Ice Shock. Okay, so then that means right here is where I have Young Monster. Young Monster will be playing World Breaker. Oh no, Dexy Dog. Yeah. So it'll be the loser. This one. So I have Blizzard. Young Monster versus Blizzard. Bro, I'm gonna take my boy Blizzard. I gotta take my boy Blizzard. Young's really good, dude. Blizzard popped off last week. Let him make Winterside top 8. Beat Retro. Did he beat Dexy too? Blizzard had 2 really, really good wins. I think he did beat Dexy, yeah. Blizzard. I gotta take my boy Blizzard. And then right here, what would that be? Yeah. And then this we were Helio. So this is Perfect Shinny versus I have 2 Varius. Perfect Shinny versus Varius. I don't know, man. This might be where your run ends, Varius. This might be where your run ends. I'm gonna take Perfect Shinny. Nice play. So that's respectable. That's respectable. Okay, here is where we have Gambler versus... No, it wouldn't be Gambler. Yeah, no, it would be Gambler. Gambler versus 3. This is the third one, which would be Lankiness. I'm going to Gambler, and then we'd have Zyth Shock versus Enzo. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, I handled worse. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't do it. I have you make it some really big wins, so I definitely think you could. I think Perfect Shinny is just such a good competitor, really good at the game. I think it will be close, and it'll be a really good set. Hope one of you guys stream. You should stream your own Varius. I want to watch that set if it happens. And then we have Enzo versus Zyth Shock. I think I gotta take Zyth Shock. I think Zyth Shock's such a good. Where's that? Okay. So that means top 8. We're gonna go here. We'd have Wise versus Dexy. I'm gonna take Wise. So that means Wise would qualify. And then we have Hourglass versus Retro. I'm going to take Retro. And then Blizzard versus Perfect. I'm going to take Blizzard. And then Gambler versus Zyth. I'm going to take Gambler. And then that would put where... So Blizzard. Let's go here. Oh, it would be Blizzard. That would be Blizzard versus Gambler. Wow. No, it wouldn't be Blizzard versus Gambler. That would be Dexy versus Gambler. Dexy versus Gambler. There's Gambler. So head up though. I gotta lock in for y'all. You gotta lock in, dude. You can't be too mad. I have you getting 9th. If you get top 8 though, you prove me wrong. I try not to play favorites when I make the predictions. Trying not to make favorites, just try to do as accurate of a job as I can. I've been pretty good. My predictions, you guys want to go back, look at the predictions I made. They're really good. I literally called at Vianality. I called VGY beating Connie in winners, and then Connie bringing it all the way back, beating VGY losers finals, winning, and then winning the tournament through losers grand finals. That's exactly what it did. Your boy knows what he's talking about. I don't know why that was an interesting call I made, but it worked out. Okay, then Dexy versus Gambler. I'm gonna take Gambler. That's gonna be a really good one. And then we would have Blizzard versus Hourglass. I think I'm gonna take Hourglass. So that would be, so then on the West Coast, who I'd have qualifying would be Wise, Retro, Gambler, Hourglass, and I think between Gambler and Hourglass, I'm gonna take Gambler, and then Retro versus Wise, I'm gonna take Retro, and then Tomato Bud, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate you. Welcome to the stream. And then we'd have Gambler Wise, Hourglass, Gambler Retro, and then I would have, so that means Gambler would fight Wise. DG boys! Such a DG, by the way. I think Wise wins that. Wise versus Retro, and Retro. I think that's a great setup. I think Retro ends up winning the tournament. That's my predictions. On East Coast, I have Bandinos, Bustman, VGY, and Zombat qualifying for the finale next weekend. And then on West Coast, I have Gambler, Wise, Retro, and Hourglass qualifying on the West Coast side of things to go along with Sonic Fox, Online Kale, Han Rashid, and Rewind. And the West Coast. On the East Coast is going to be joined by Tweety, Mighty Unjust, Pure, and Ninja Killa. That's going to do it, guys, for the prediction. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. And I'll see you guys at the next video.